So I stopped by Springdale Cemetery just to say hello to my grandmother, who was right here. And it's a really nice day, and so I kind of get a kick out of walking through here and just looking at all the folks here. And I've always been fascinated by this place, but what catches my eye anymore are all the tombstones that have been knocked down over the years. And I don't know whether it's from weather or vandalism or what it might be, but it's pretty distressing in a lot of ways. This is such a historical and beautiful place. Many of the people that founded this town are buried here. They were here, of course, long before I came along. But I look at something like this and I think to myself, what is this? Is this vandalism? Is this there's trees around here? Did a tree knock it down? Or exactly what happened? But regardless of that, it just seems like they all just kind of stay this way. It doesn't seem like anybody really is repairing any of this damage. So when a tombstone has on perpetual care, at least I was taught years ago that meant that the stone or the grave would be cared for eternity, essentially. And but it doesn't look like it in many cases. Just a lot of our things have been destroyed here, not well taken care of, and so it just brings a lot of questions to mind as to why don't we value these historical places anymore. But it's kind of distressing, in a lot of ways. But not to be morbid, but just out of respect for those who have gone before us and who lie here and who maybe have family still around, or maybe many of them don't have family anymore, and the only thing that they have left behind are these monuments for us to look at, to remind us that they were here at one time. So there are a lot of places in this cemetery that I've never been in, even though as a kid I rode my bike up here all the time, messed around, but we never desecrated anything. We just rode around and just kind of enjoyed ourselves because of all the trees and all the hills, and it was just a peaceful place to be. But it's just kind of disheartening to see all the things that have gone uncared for over the years. And the question is, who do you ask, or who is responsible for taking care of this? And that's assuming people want to take care of it, and many people really don't care, I suppose. But it's just very interesting and very sad in some ways. The way they did things back then kind of makes you wonder what was going on. Just the way, graves were figured out or constructed or planned. Over here is kind of an interesting conglomeration of things. It just looks like a hodgepodge. This tombstone has obviously been vandalized or fallen down. But you've got people obviously in this plot that were families, but it's just kind of haphazard. It's hard to know maybe where they actually are. Of course, there was a tree there at one time and I'm sure the roots got to everything and adjusted things and moved them around a bit. And here's one here, ground shifting. It's hard to tell. But kind for this family and for these people that are here, it's just kind of, kind of saddening to think that what remains of who they were just kind of left in desecration. And here's another one that's just been fallen over. Isabella Tarkington. I mean, the stone has just been there, looks like for quite a while. I mean, you see that all over. And anyway, just something to think about and to ponder. There's, I think, a couple, mother, father. I mean, Louise's tombstone is knocked over. And here's one that's just kind of sitting cattywampus. There's another one that just got turned over. And some of this, I understand, is probably the result of tree rot, I suppose, but it's kind of hard to imagine that something got tilted so badly just by that, or even something landing on it. It just kind of speaks to vandalism, but I don't know for sure. And here's an interesting one up here. This poor gal, Rosie, wife of Joseph Hale. Now, there's a tree that was obviously there that was cut down, but was Rosie buried on top of the tree? Was the tree put on top of Rosie? How does that happen? And of course, here's the Hale stone itself that's just, knocked over. Don't know if there are any Hales left in town. That might mean something too. And here's another one that's just kind of buried in the ground. You don't know who it is. When they mow up here, I'm sure it's difficult. There's a lot to mow, and you have to usually do it by hand and trim and mow around it. Not easy, I get that. A lot of work. Perpetual care, I know, is a lot of work. So, not really looking to blame anybody. I guess I'm just questioning why we kind of leave things like this go. And I'm not perseverating on death and dying and all those kinds of things. But this is our history. These are the people that at one time meant something to us. And there's history here. My gosh, there's a lot of history here. Like I said before, these folks founded this city and contributed God knows what, but they were part of what made Clinton what it is. And I think a lot of their family is gone by now, and there aren't a whole lot of people around to remember them. But this is such a fascinating place. It always has been. The hills and the trees and the fact that it's kind of high up here on the bluff. But moreover, it's just an historical place. A place to come and think and remember and appreciate. So I don't know what the answer is altogether, but I don't live here anymore, but I certainly do visit quite often. I do have grandparents here and great-grandparents and cousins. But anyway, you see this kind of all over the cemetery, and I would imagine that it's probably a pretty similar situation in a lot of cemeteries across the country. I don't know, but this one is pretty meaningful to me, and I think to a lot of people as well who are from here. So anyway, I just thought I would reflect on some of this and Just going to take you for a little tour of what I've been seeing. And I know I posted some of this stuff a while back, and somebody had the idea, well, why don't we just, as neighborhoods or associations or groups of people, volunteer groups, come along and maybe adopt one of these sections, you know, and just kind of come up and care for it. I mean, this is just one section here that you know, maybe a group could manage to come up and, I don't know, mow grass or fix stones. Maybe you could put a little sign or placard by it that states that, you know, this is your organization and it's caring for this section. Maybe you have somebody, family member who is here, so it maybe is more meaningful to you to have a certain section that you take care of. But it's a wonderful place, and it's just too bad that a lot of these memorials are not better cared for, and maybe we can be inspired to take ownership of this and not rely on someone else to do it. But these folks deserve to be respected and remembered for the lives they've lived. It's that whole idea, you know, the dash. We have the dates. A lot of times on these old stones we have the dates, but sometimes we have a lot of these that just give the year of birth and the year of death. There's that dash in between, so that dash in between obviously is the life they led in those years. So anyway, they once meant a lot to some people, and probably still do. And maybe they're looking down on us saying, well, you know what, it's okay. It's not that important, but this place is here. It's for us to take care of. So, something to think about. So again, this is Springdale Cemetery, and a place that has a lot of history in our beloved town of Clinton, Iowa.